Welcome back to another first impression, this time for the anime, Nukitashi, the animation. We have a rather long synopsis of any list. The island of the everlasting summer, Siren Island. Junosuke Tachibana, whose family home was on this island, returned to it with his sister Asane Tachibana after the death of their parents. However, Siren Island has become a place of madness due to the implementation of the perverted law, a law designed to combat population decline. This law permits even encourages lewd sex acts everywhere on the island, and refusing to engage in reproductive activities is punished almost as severely as a crime. Junosuke, a proud virgin and staunch defender of virginity, questions the legitimacy of this law. Determined to protect both his and his beloved sister's purity, he forms the Anti-Copulation Front, NLNS, No Love, No Sex, and sets out to destroy the perverted law once and for all. I will destroy the perverted law. This one is an experience. Now, I am familiar with like somewhat erotic anime. We saw a couple the last couple seasons where you imply specific acts, or you are like a little bit on the further edgy side. This one is, if there's a line between, edgy and erotica, this one is long past. This one took the line and ran. It is gone. You can't even see the show anymore. That is how far away from the original lines they are. I have no idea how this is seen as an anime per se, because I watched the uncensored version because I am an esteemed gentleman, and holy shit, they do not stop ever. It is not even close. I watched the first 3 episodes. The first episode, we had a setup. Hey, we go back to this island because the parents died, and I assume they had a house there because I don't see any reason to go back otherwise, because, parents are dead. However, we have our main guy and his sister go to this island. Now, in this island, it's like, hey, you have to have sex. And seemingly, wherever they go, unless the person has to do some work, they are doing it non-stop. They are shown as doing it non-stop, and it doesn't stop. It is the first episode. You could imagine, oh, it's a setup, we have to see more. No, second episode, we see a lot of that going as well. Third episode, we see more. Now, most of the scenes are, there's nothing shown in the primary sexual organ type of areas. You do see, I believe you do see boobs. However, you don't need to see everything. They are doing the whole Kama Sutra. You see every kind of position being used there. It's crazy, and I don't know about this one. Overall, animation was fine. Sometimes we have some solid animation. Most of the time, it's pretty okay. It's fine. It's not bad animation, which is good. Character designs, I do like the character designs. However, I feel like they are more or less your bog standard designs. We have a lot of female characters, so you are going to like some of them more specifically. So that is why we always have a lot of female characters. so that everyone has someone they can, like in some way, shape, or form. The story, we have these, we form this anti-copulation front and presumably want to fight to destroy the law, and we fight with sex toys, which is interesting. This part is interesting because our guy, okay, so we have our guy and he has a sister. Now our guy, he just wants to have a normal relationship, like someone, and then have a normal relationship and not just fuck around. Now he does, in his free time, he makes little sex toys for men, like these little tangaks, if you know. And you do see some other tools in the first episode that he has lined up in his shelf, which he then uses these eggs as part of his tool and arsenal to fight. He can fill these with different kinds of liquids and throw them at enemies to then stop them in their tracks, blind them, whatever he needs right now. Which is interesting because he uses sex toys to fight, while meanwhile the enemy, quote-unquote, the one that want to force them to have sex, they use guns. They have fucking guns. They do have rubber bullets, but they have guns. They not only have like little pistols, they have a Uzi. I hope with rubber bullets. They even have a sniper, which is insane because our guy, who doesn't want to have sex, is using sex toys, and the other ones, they use fucking guns. The whole setup is insane. Additionally, the sister, she doesn't seem too opposed to having sexual relationships. However, she is not interested in men. And I guess this is not okay on this island because, it's against the combat the population decline. Additionally, we do get some more people in our crew, quotation, to fight the enemy, and most of them are fine with having sex. There are some non-sex related reasons they are not taking part. One of them is seen as too small. The other one has like a little bit of a problem with her own weight, so she doesn't want to be quote-unquote naked, which doesn't make sense because there are a lot of people that have sex with clothes on. It is a very strange setup. It is... I don't know why, because in the animation, at least, it doesn't really add much that, there are a lot of people fucking around. Doesn't really add much to the main plot because we are mostly interested in the main female enemies, the main female cast of our group, and then our main guy, who has a little bit of a complex. He has a problem. We find that out in second episode. I'm gonna spoil it. He has a big problem that did hurt him real bad whenever he was young. He has a massive dick. Yeah, I'm sorry you had to hear it here. He has a massive dick. Why is that I don't know why that is a problem. I can understand that you can develop like some problem because of your childhood. He got made fun of, sure. But I would assume as a teenager or bigger, you would be like, hell yeah, I have a big dick. Unless it is so big that, you can't really use it because it would be endangering your life. Otherwise, it's like, I guess, okay. Another part that I do have to question, because we do see a lot of high schooler. I don't know, high schooler, people of age that are still visiting school. Whatever that makes them, I don't know, I don't care. And we see a lot of them, you know, copulate or have sex, which is a little bit unrealistic, because we see a lot of them and they all have like, oh, it's so good and it's so nice. This anime is very crass. A lot of, you know, words that you normally would not say too much outside of specific instances. And they all have fun, which is good. There is a protection program. You get checked every now and then. There seems to be 24/7 video camera checking. It's like if I remember correctly, it's like heat cameras that can check STD, STIs or whatever, or check for symptoms. You get supplied a lot of birth control. That is all fine. However, we are in this young adult environment and all the people have fun. All the women have fun, which is very unrealistic. Men are very egocentric on that age and probably not able to satisfy their partners, at least not that much, I assume. At least not everyone. I would say it's probably half and half. Half are going to be good, the other half is going to be bad. But in this case, everyone has fun, which a little unrealistic. Again, it is just a crazy setup, crazy everything. Was it fun? I found it a little bit cheesy because the story revolves around this whole sex law, that we had to use like sex specific items to fight, and whenever they get chased, especially our guy, it's like, oh, I'm gonna catch you and then I'm gonna fuck you, and it's like a little bit over the top, which, if you like that, this could be something for you. It is not safe for work. I hope I did not have to say that. I do not know if the censored version is better in any way. I'm assuming not much, because there's so much going on. Literally in the first couple minutes, they are walking for like minutes through streets, and you can't even, I don't believe there are even cars. There are streets, but they are full of people having sex. So I don't believe you could really censor it. Now on any list, it has 70%. On my anime list, it has 7.27. Quite honestly, very surprising. Very surprising. However, I can see the appeal. It is over the top. It is essentially, if you remove all the edgy erotica out, it is more or less, we have a little group that are fighting some oppressive group. So there is some fighting going to happen, I assume. I do not believe they are going to fight like in Dragon Ball or My Hero Academia. I feel like they're going to fight in some very weird way. I would say it is a 7 out of 10. Mostly because animation is not bad. Characters are fine. The story is over the top. I do appreciate that they just went balls to the walls. They went balls deep. Literally, they went all the way. They are not being shy. So I do have to respect that. It's a 7 out of 10. I can see why people would like to watch it. I personally would not recommend it because I do not believe I could. Because to be honest, if I want to recommend some fighting show or where you have like an underground group fighting like an oppressive group, there are other animes they do it better. And if I want to recommend you hentai, I am just recommending you a hentai. So